Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final council meeting of 2024. We think, unless there's something special comes up. We've had multiple in the last month. And as we do always at this time of year, we have some staff recognition announcements. And I don't think any of the staff are here tonight, but we probably recognize three staff members. Chris Obie. Congratulations to Chris on his impressive 20-year work anniversary with the municipality of Sioux. Chris has shown incredible dedication and leadership throughout his career, currently serving as the airport foreman. His hard work and commitment to excellence have made him a standout member of the team, and he continues to be an invaluable leader, supporting and guiding staff with passion and expertise. We are fortunate to have Chris as part of our team and look forward to many more years of success together. Thank you for your dedication, Chris. Here's to many more milestones ahead, and congratulations on 25 years. 20 years, excuse me. We'll get 5 more out of it. And Bill Collins. Congratulations to Bill on his 10-year anniversary as an airport operations technician with the airport. Bill has been an integral part of the team, consistently demonstrating a strong work ethic and dedication to his role. His contributions go beyond just his technical expertise. He's also a key member of the health and safety team, ensuring that the airport remains a safe and efficient environment for everyone. We truly appreciate Bill's commitment to and hard work over the past decade and look forward to celebrating many more years of success together. Thank you, Bill, for everything you do. Here's to many more years of excellence and achievement. And finally, Max Morgan. Congratulations to Max on reaching 10 years as a paid per-call firefighter captain with the Emergency Services Department. Max's dedication to serving the community and his commitment to the safety and well-being of others are truly commendable. Over the past decade, he has been a reliable and hardworking member of the team, always ready to step up when needed. His service and bravery make a significant difference, and we are grateful for his continued contributions. Thank you, Max, for your unwavering dedication to protecting and serving the community. Here's to many more years of teamwork, courage, and service. And another one in the Morgan family, I think, 4th generation, I think, of firefighters. That's right. It's over 100 years accumulated. Luke is not claiming the 4th, he's claiming the 3rd. They're going back 3. So congratulations to all those staff. Now we have several statutory public meetings tonight before we start our regular council meeting. So I'll call the statutory public meeting to order at 5:33 p.m. and ask if there are any amendments to the agenda.
3 amendments, I have none.
And a motion that the agenda for the statutory public meeting on December 18th, 2024 be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Bowen, seconded by Councillor Van Breda. All in favor? Carried. Declarations of pecuniary interest.
3 amendments, I have none. And we do, though, this evening have regrets from Councillor Timpson.
Thank you. First, application 144 King Street zoning bylaw amendment number Z10-2024. The applicant Ed Evans on behalf of 2656116 Ontario Incorporated. This public meeting is being held pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, chapter P13 as amended, regarding zoning bylaw amendment number Z10-2024 by Ed Evans on behalf of 2656116 Ontario Incorporated for the subject property known locally as 144 King Street. The subject property is described legally as Plan 23M263, Lot 20, RP 23 R9538, Part 4, Parcel 41672. The subject property is currently developed with a 2-story quadruplex, having a floor area of 155 square meters on each floor, for a total gross floor area of 310 square meters. The owner is proposing 2 new dwelling units within a new separate building, semi-detached dwelling that has a gross floor area of 76 square meters for a total of 6 dwelling units on the subject property. The purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment application Z10-2024 is to permit a total of 6 dwelling units within 2 separate buildings on the subject property. The reduced rear yard for the new proposed building, semi-detached dwelling, and reduction in the required mountains. The planning coordinator will confirm how notice was served to advertise the public meeting.
Notice was circulated to internal staff and external bodies by email The notice was also advertised in the Sioux bulletin and on the municipal website and social media, and sent by mail to various agencies and property owners within 120 meters of the subject property. Signs were also posted on subject property.
Thank you. The planning coordinator will provide a summary of the application.
A zoning bylaw amendment application has been submitted by Ed Evans on behalf of 2656116 Ontario Incorporated for the subject property locally known as 144 King Street. The subject property has a lot area of 931 square meters and a lot frontage of 20 meters along King Street. The subject property is currently developed with a quadruplex. The purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment application is to rezone the subject property from the residential type 2 zone to a site-specific residential type 2 exception 17 zone. The site-specific rezoning is to permit the following. Point 1. 2 separate buildings, that is an existing quadruplex and a proposed semi-detached dwelling for a total of 6 dwelling units on the subject land. The zoning bylaw permits either a quadruplex or a semi-detached dwelling as a principal use and not a quadruplex and a semi-detached together on the same property within the residential type 2 zone. Point 2. A reduced rear yard setback of 4 meters for the proposed semi-detached dwelling. A minimum rear yard setback of 8 meters is required. And point 3. A reduced visitor parking. No visitor parking is provided. A minimum of 1 visitor parking is required for the existing quadruplex. The proposed semi-detached dwelling will have a floor area of 76 meters, and each unit will have a size of 38 square meters. The zoning bylaw amendment application was reviewed in the context of the 2024 provincial planning statement. 144 King Street is located within the urban Sioux local settlement area, and the provincial planning statement directs that settlement areas shall be the focus of growth and development. Within settlement areas, land use patterns should be based on densities that efficiently use land and resources. In addition, planning authorities are directed to support general intensification to support the achievement of complete communities by planning for a range of housing. The proposed development contributes to efficient land use within the settlement area and contributes to housing options within the municipality. Municipal water and sewage services are the preferred servicing option for development within settlement areas. And the proposed development on the subject property will be connected to municipal services. The official plan provides general policy direction on land use within the municipality. The subject property is located within the urban Sioux local settlement area and designated residential in the official plan. The residential designation recognizes existing residential areas and lands for future residential uses. A range of housing types are permitted in the residential designation. Under the affordable housing principle in the official plan, the municipality shall support the location of affordable housing within new or existing development to provide a range of housing that shall meet the housing needs associated with a diversified economy. It is noted that there is a housing shortage in Sioux in relation to the number of job vacancies that are available. The proposed development will contribute to housing options, particularly for young professionals, based on the size of each dwelling unit. In the context of the official plan, the proposed development is considered high density. However, it must be noted that density is a measure of dwelling units per unit area of land, but does not consider the intensity of use. For example, number of bedrooms. The existing and proposed development includes a total of 6 dwelling units. However, the intensity of use could possibly be comparable in nature to a quadruplex containing multiple bedrooms. The zoning bylaw provides specific regulations and provisions for land use development within the municipality. The subject property is located within the residential type 2 zone. A quadruplex or a semi-detached dwelling is a permitted use in the residential type 2 zone. However, a quadruplex and a semi-detached dwelling is not a permitted use on the same property in the residential type 2 zone. The owner is proposing a reduced rear yard setback of 4 meters for the proposed semi-detached dwelling. A reduced rear yard setback of 4 meters is not anticipated to adversely impact surrounding land uses. It must be noted that 144 King Street is bound to the north by an open road allowance that contains overgrown vegetation. The existing and proposed development satisfies all other provisions for the residential type 2 zone. However, the residential type 2 zone does not contain provisions for properties containing 2 principal buildings, such as a quadruplex and a semi-detached dwelling. Site-specific provisions will be established through the proposed site-specific rezoning. In addition, the owner is proposing a total of 6 parking spaces, excluding 1 visitor parking space. 1 visitor parking space is required for a quadruplex, in addition to the 6 spaces provided for the quadruplex and the semi-detached dwelling.
Thank you. The planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from government agencies and municipal staff.
Lawrence, comments were received from CN Rail through email on December 11th, 2024, and I read. Thank you for consulting CN on the applications. It is noted that the subject site is within 1,000 meters of CN railway operations, including the CN Sioux lookout yards. CN has concerns of developing / densifying residential uses in proximity to railway operations. Development of sensitive uses in proximity to railway operations cultivate an environment in which land use incompatibility issues are exacerbated. The guidelines for new development in proximity to railway operations reinforces the safety and well-being of any existing and future occupants of the area. These policies have been developed by the Railway Association of Canada and the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. CN encourages the municipality to pursue the implementation of the following criteria as conditions of an eventual project approval. Point 1. The following clause should be inserted on land title in all developmental agreements, offers to purchase, and agreements of purchase and sale or lease of each dwelling unit within 1,000 meters of the railway right of way. Warning. And it's as follows, the clause is as follows. Warning. Canadian National Railway Company or its assigned or successors in interest has or have a right of way within 1,000 meters from the land, the subject hereof. There may be alterations to or expansions of the railway facilities on such right of way in the future, including the possibility that the railway or its assigned or successors, as aforesaid, may expand its operations, which expansion may affect the living environment of the residents in the vicinity, notwithstanding the inclusion of any noise and vibration attenuating measures in the design of the development and individual dwellings. CNR will not be responsible for any complaints or claims arising from use of such facilities and or operations on, over, or under the aforesaid right of way. Point 2. The owner shall be required to grant CN an environmental easement for operational noise and vibration emissions registered against the subject property in favor of CN.
The planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from members of the public.
Lawrence, comments were received from Darren Head via email on December 17, and it's as follows. I am emailing you to express my concern regarding the proposed zoning bylaw amendments Z10 2024. Specifically, my concern is regarding the lack of increase in parking spaces to accompany the proposed additional 4 units that both proposed amendments would approve. As you know, the location of the units in question is a dead-end street, which means any traffic that enters that section of King Street must also exit the same way. Due to the present use of that section of King Street, there already exists a significant amount of both vehicular and pedestrian traffic. This proposed zoning amendment without increased parking would mean an increase in on-street parking for both tenants and visitors. As you know, there is no sidewalks on this section of King Street, which means pedestrians traffic is forced to use the roadway. With this increased traffic flow and increased on-street parking that will result from this proposed amendment, I worry about the safety for people using this section of King Street. This worry is amplified in the winter months with the high snowbank and young pedestrians utilizing this section of King Street to access the Blueberry Hill sliding hill. Based on this, I encourage the municipality to not approve this proposed bylaw amendment.
Thank you. The applicant or a representative is invited to speak to the application. Is there a representative who wishes to speak to the application tonight? Please step forward and take the microphone and state your name for the record.
Hi, Ed Evans, representing the applicant. There was a couple of misquotes in this last comment from the public. There will only be 2 additional spaces at each location. As well, there will be parking provided for all 6 units, 1 parking space per unit. The only thing we're asking is an exemption from the necessity to have a parking spot available for guests.
Thank you. Questions from members of council, comments, questions? I think I'll just ask the planning coordinator. We had a letter from CN Rail and CIO and CBO. You can help me here. We've never, to my knowledge, we've never had before a letter from CN Rail regarding a development in Sioux. And on many occasions over my 10 years here, we have done developments within 1,000 meters of CN's property. Is there a reason why they have taken it upon themselves to comment now?
Through Mayor Lawrence, they are always circulated on these types of amendments when they're in, proximity to the rail line or the rail yard, but they just typically don't respond.
So can I ask about the comments they've made? CIO, please.
To you, Mayor Lawrence, this may very well be simply a change in policy at CN, that they're being more actively engaged in providing comments on such matters. It's given that we're talking, council has approved zoning bylaw amendments that impacted Front Street, which is much closer to the railway and rail yard than these are on King. So my only explanation would be that this is a new initiative that CN has undertaken, and perhaps intends to be more engaged when it comes to their opportunities to provide comment on such applications.
Okay, yeah, I mean, 1,000 meters either side of the railway line through town takes up about 50% of the land area of urban Silicon. Okay. Thank you. Nothing else, council? Members of the public are invited to speak. So, oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Castle.
Just on that note, I'm just curious, could you repeat the section, what they're requesting that we put on? Are they requesting to put something on the deed or?
Yeah, like add to the land titles or register on the property itself.
Are they in a position, like, is that, I guess the question is that common practice to do? Is that something that, like, if anyone says, hey, I want you to put this on the land title, the municipality would go out and do that?
Through Mayor Lawrence, I guess that'd be a council decision. I think I would look at this as if this was a new development in proximity to the rail line, then it's likely something that would be more, we'd be more willing to consider, I guess you could say, but being that it's already a built up area, we're just adding units in an existing built up residential area that's been there for 100 years. I guess the recommendation from staff is that I don't think we're obligated to put it on there. It's their request. If it was a new subdivision and new development, then I think we would request that it be put on. But in this case, it's intensification in a built up neighborhood.
So the advice to council is we could ignore this for now. Well, ignore it or.
Maybe I'll defer to the CAO here, but I feel, yeah, based on the fact that it is a built up area and And the intensive, it's not like a 5-story multi-residential building, it's an addition of 6 units total, like, so.
Will this be coming back to council at the next meeting to vote on? Since there was opposition.
Few minute warrant. So as always, that is up to council. If council feels that the comments or concerns in opposition are sufficiently addressed at the meeting, then you can still approve it tonight if that's council's wish. Or if you wish to send it back and have staff provide additional information, that is also entirely council's option. So with respect to whether or not council should acquiesce to CN's requests, you know, again, they are that. We do circulate these agencies to give them the opportunity to provide comment. They have chosen to provide comment, but ultimately council is the decision-making authority in the matter. I do tend to support the development services manager's perspective that, you know, if this was a whole new subdivision or a brand new development or developing in an area that hadn't been developed before, maybe more credence would be placed on these requests. My primary concern is especially with the second bullet point about requiring the owner to provide CN an environmental easement for operational noise and vibration emissions. I think that's a bit over the top. Frankly, anyone who is living in town within a couple of streets of CN is quite aware of my entire 18 years living in Sioux Lookout has been within a street of the rail yard on either side. So it's part of life in living in Sioux Lookout, as is hearing float planes at 5:30, 4:30 in the morning in summertime. So I don't believe that this is. I don't think council necessarily needs to provide or give this a lot of consideration at this time.
Thank you. All right, let's take Councillor Coxwell, yeah.
And I think the parking was addressed at our last meeting. When we discussed this, where he felt these are junior level employees that don't have a lot of cars. So he felt the parking was adequate. So just so people are aware of that. And I do agree with Brian and Jody on the CN. We don't need to go there.
Anything further, Council? All right, members of the public are invited to speak to the application. The public can ask questions of clarification or seek background information, speak in support of the application, or speak in opposition to the application. All questions will be directed through the chair. It is requested that only one question be asked at a time. Please identify yourself before you ask your question so that you can be properly reported in the minutes of the hearing. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak to the application? Please step forward and take a microphone. State your name.
Thank you for.
The microphone is necessary for the streaming, otherwise the online streaming doesn't get it. We could do with a better arrangement to get the microphone elevated probably.
Thank you for giving me to speak. My name is Darren Hatter, reside at 143 King Street, and I do recognize the need for increased housing in our community. I moved here in 1995, and finding an affordable place to live was difficult. I checked with the mayor, and he indicated he was here in the 80s and it was the same thing. And so this is an ongoing issue in Sioux Lookout, and it's been exasperating in the last number of years, but it's not new. So I've lived at 143 King Street long enough that I've seen the fourplex at 144 have 7-8 vehicles parked in front of it. Right now, the present landowner, I agree, probably don't foresee a need for parking, but truth is that landowner could sell that entire complex to me next year. And I might not have the same tenants or the same needs. So the potential for needing that parking is there. Maybe not this year, but this is a permanent Band-Aid solution. Like you can't go back on this once you make the bylaw amendment. You can't all of a sudden, if I buy this from the present landlord, for example, not that I'm going to, but just for example. I have that same, right? But if I got a fourplex, 2 bedrooms in each of those units, well, that's a possibility of 4 cars, right? 4 parking spaces needed. That's a reality, right? Because that's who could be moving in there. So while I agree right now, it might not be, it might not be the same significant issue. In a year's time, it could be. And all of a sudden you need that extra parking, there's no place to park except on the street. So if we're gonna make this amendment, we should make sure that that's a long-term, we have a long-term solution to the parking that could arrive in a year's time. Because the amendment can't be changed. Once those units are built, it's done. So we had to plan, and this is another part of my concern is we do need the home, we do need the places for people to live, yes. But it seems like now the plan is let's jam as many units into an existing town lot. Sioux Lookout might suffer from a lot of things, not having a lot of things. Land is not one of them. So while this is not your problem to start with this council, it's your problem now. We need some long-term solutions that are viable, that are sustainable for housing in this community. What we're proposing here, what we're seeing in town over the last number of years is a Band-Aid solution, but it's a permanent Band-Aid solution. We're jamming as many units into the existing town lots that used to have a single dwelling home. And we're putting up a fourplex and a duplex and 2 duplexes in that same space. That's not sustainable. So we need to come up with a long-term solution, and that requires a plan. This is not planned. Again, this is a Band-Aid solution, but it's permanent. You can't turn around and change it in 5 years. Right? These houses and these apartments are gonna exist for 50, 75 years. So you're stuck with, so the decisions you make now, the community is gonna be stuck with 50, 60, 70 years down the road. We gotta have a long-term plan for this. And we do have, and it's hard work, it's dirty work for this council to do it. You have to do it. You have to come up with a sustainable solution using the land that we have around us for housing. It's there, it's a lot of work, and it's not cheap, but we have to come up with a solution. And this is not a solution, it's a Band-Aid. And it's a permanent Band-Aid, and that's the part of it that we can't turn around 5 years and change it. Once we make this decision, it's there. Thank you.
Thank you. May I go back to council? Council.
Thank you. If we wanted to add a sidewalk in the future, would that be possible? Because remember, Mr. Head's comment was saying that there's currently no sidewalks on that portion of King Street. Could we add sidewalk just so that people are not walking on the street?
Service manager or CAO?
Through Mayor Lawrence, so it is a 20-meter wide road allowance, so yeah, there is the potential, obviously. There's a great cost to that, but there is the opportunity in the future, yes.
In terms of some of the comments that we just made, there is long-term planning in terms of we are developing land. The Bigwood property, for example, has just been sold. We extended the servicing through long-term planning to the airport and across the highway to Bigwood, and the developer there is planning as well as some commercial residential developments. Over the last several years, development services manager, how many we've approved several new subdivisions in the undeveloped areas. Go ahead.
Yeah, through Mayor Lawrence, in the last 2 years, well, we have one underway 14-lot subdivision. And one that has started selling lots, 15-lot rural petitions lots.
So some of that is underway. I think the comments are reasonable on one hand, but they ignore some of the work that is underway and being done. It's a long-term problem. And part of the intensification, as the planning coordinator read out, is provincial direction that the province isn't funding a lot of new infrastructure. What they are telling us to do is densify and intensify. And if you don't you lose according to the province. So this is not only a local Band-Aid solution, it's a Band-Aid solution across the province. Band-Aid, I mean, it's part of the solution, and I think the solution to the housing crisis is multifaceted, including intensification, densification, including new subdivisions, and including a range of different housing types, styles, and costs. This concludes the public meeting regarding zoning bylaw amendment applications at 10/2024. If any member of the public wishes to be notified of the decision of council in respect of the application, you must make a written request to the planning coordinator. Notice to appeal the decisions of council to the Ontario Land Tribunal must be filed with the planning coordinator no later than 20 days from the date the notice of decision is circulated. The notice to appeal shall be sent to the attention of the planning coordinator, and it must include the following information: the reasons for the appeal and the fee as prescribed under the Ontario Land Tribunal Act in the amount of $1,100 for the zoning bylaw amendment payable by certified check to the Minister of Finance, Province of Ontario. So, CIO, help me here. We have two options.
Female votes, yes. So two options available to council. If council believes the concerns that were raised have been addressed to council satisfaction, you may move forward with the approval process. Or the other option is, if you feel that you will benefit from a follow-up report from staff to further address the comments, then you may request that as well. Those essentially are council's options.
So I guess I'll take a straw poll and I could call the vote on the first one and then see where it goes. So I will call the first motion. The fee, 144 King Street zoning bylaw amendment number Z10/2024. Option 1, if there are no opposing comments raised at December 18th, 2024 statutory public meeting, or council feels that they have been addressed, that council receives the planning report dated December 18th, 2024, respecting zoning bylaw amendment number Z10/24, and further, the council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 90-24, being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux as amended for application number Z10/2024. Is there a mover for that motion? Councilor Lego, is there a seconder? Seconded, all in favor? That's carried. We now move on to application 138 King Street zoning bylaw amendment number Z12/2024. Applicant Ed Evans on behalf of 2656116 Ontario Incorporated. This public meeting is being held pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, chapter P13 as amended, regarding zoning bylaw amendment number Z12/2024 by Ed Evans on behalf of 2656116 Ontario Incorporated for the subject property known locally as 138 King Street. The subject property is described legally as Plan M263, Lot 17, Parcel 2260. The subject property is currently developed with a quadruplex with a gross floor area of 158 square meters. The owner is proposing 2 new dwelling units within a new separate building, semi-detached dwelling, that has a gross floor area of 76 square meters on the subject property. The purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment application Z12/2024 is to permit a total of 6 dwelling units within 2 separate buildings on the subject property, a reduced road yard setback for the new proposed building, a semi-detached dwelling, and a reduction in the required amount of visitor parking. The planning coordinator will confirm how notice was served to advertise the public meeting.
Notice was circulated to internal staff and external bodies by email. Notice was advertised in the Sioux Bulletin and on the municipal website and social media, and sent by mail to various agencies and properties within 120 meters of the subject property, and signs were also posted on the subject property.
The planning coordinator will provide a summary of the application.
The zoning bylaw amendment application has been submitted by Ed Evans on behalf of 2656116 Ontario Incorporated for the subject property locally known as 138 King Street. The subject property has a lot area of 931 square meters and a lot frontage of 20 meters along King Street. The subject property is currently developed with a quadruplex. The purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment application is to rezone the subject property from the residential type 2 zone to a site-specific residential type 2 exception 18 zone. The site-specific rezoning is to permit the following. Point 1, 2 separate buildings, that is an existing quadruplex and a proposed semi-detached dwelling containing a total of 6 dwelling units. The zoning bylaw permits either a quadruplex or a semi-detached as a principal use, and not a quadruplex and a semi-detached together on a same property located within the residential type 2 zone. Point 2, a reduced rear yard setback of 4 meters for the proposed semi-detached dwelling. A minimum rear yard setback of 8 meters is required. And point 3, a reduced visitor parking. No visitor parking is provided. A minimum of 1 visitor parking is required for the existing quadruplex. The proposed semi-detached dwelling will have a floor area of 76 square meters, and each unit will have a size of 38 square meters. The zoning bylaw amendment application was reviewed in the context of the 2024 provincial planning statement. 138 King Street is located within the urban Sioux settlement area, and the provincial planning statement directs the settlement area shall be the focus of growth and development, and that within settlement areas, land use patterns shall be based on densities that efficiently use land. Planning authorities are also directed to support general intensification to support the achievement of complete communities. To support the achievement of complete communities while planning for a range of housing. The proposed development contributes to efficient land use within the urban Sioux settlement area and housing options within the municipality. Municipal water and sewage services are the preferred servicing options for development within settlement areas, and the subject property and the proposed development will be connected to municipal services. The official fund provides general policy direction on land use within the municipality. The subject property is located within the urban Sioux settlement area and is designated residential in the official plan. The residential designation recognizes existing residential uses and lands for future residential uses. A range of housing types are permitted in the residential designation. It is noted that there is a housing shortage in Sioux in relation to the number of job vacancies that are available. The proposed development will contribute to the housing options, particularly for young working professionals, based on the size of each dwelling unit proposed. The existing and proposed developments include a total of 6 dwelling units. However, the intensity of use is comparable to a quadruplex containing multiple bedrooms. The zoning bylaw provides specific regulations and provisions for land use development within the municipality. The subject property is located within the residential type 2 zone. A quadruplex or a semi-detached dwelling is permitted in the residential type 2 zone. However, a quadruplex and a semi-detached dwelling is not permitted use on the same property within the residential type 2 zone. The owner is proposing a reduced rear yard setback of 4 meters for the proposed semi-detached dwelling. A reduced rear yard setback of 4 meters is not anticipated to negatively impact surrounding uses. The existing and proposed development satisfies all other provisions for the residential type 2 zone. The owner is proposing a total of 6 parking spaces, excluding 1 visitor parking. 1 visitor parking space is required for the existing quadruplex, in addition to the 6 parking spaces provided for the quadruplex and the semi-detached dwelling.
The planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from government agencies and municipal staff.
During my Lawrence, comments were received from CN Rail through email on December 11th. And, this as follows. Thank you for consulting CN on their applications. It is noted that the subject site is within 1,000 meters of CN railway operations, including the CN Sioux lookout yards. CN has concerns on developing densifying residential in proximity to railway operations. Development of sensitive uses in proximity to railway operations cultivate an environment in which land use incompatibility issues are exacerbated. The guidelines for new development in proximity to railway operations reinforce the safety and well-being of any existing and future occupants of the area. These policies have been developed by the Railway Association of Canada and the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. CN encourages the municipality to pursue the implementation of the following criteria as conditions of an eventual project approval. Point one, the following clause should be inserted on the land title in all development agreements, offers to purchase, and agreements of purchase and sale or lease of each dwelling unit within 1,000 meters of the railway right of way. The clause is as follows. One, Canadian National Railway Company or its assigns or successors in the interest has or have a right of way within 1,000 meters from the land, the subject hereof. There may be alterations to or expansions of the railway facilities on such right of way in the future, including the possibility that the railway or its assigns or successors, as aforesaid, may expand its operations, which expansion may affect the living environment of the residents in the vicinity, notwithstanding the inclusion of any noise and vibration attenuation measures in the design of the development and individual buildings. CNR will not be responsible for any complaints or claims arising from use of such facilities and or operations on, over, or under the aforesaid right of way. Point two, the owner shall be required to grant CN an environmental easement for operational noise and vibration emissions registered against the subject property in favor of CN.
The applicant, or sorry, the planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from members of the public.
Through mailers, comments were received from Darren Head through email on December 17, 2024, and it's as follows. I am emailing you to express my concern regarding the proposed zoning bylaw amendment Z12, 2024. Specifically, my concern is regarding the lack of increase in parking spaces to accompany the proposed additional units that both proposed amendments would approve. As you know, the location of the unit in question is a dead-end street, which means any traffic that enters that section of King Street must also exit the same way. Due to the present use of that section of King Street, there already exists a significant amount of both vehicular and pedestrian traffic. This proposed zoning amendments without increased parking would mean an increase in on-street parking for both tenants and visitors. As you know, there is no sidewalks on this section of King Street, which means pedestrian traffic is forced to use the roadway. With this increased traffic flow and increased on-street parking that would result from this proposed amendment, I worry about the safety for people using this section of King Street. This worry is amplified in the winter months with the high snowbank and young pedestrians utilizing this section of King Street to access the Blueberry Hill sliding hill. Based on this, I encourage the municipal council to not approve this proposed bylaw amendment.
The applicant or a representative is invited to speak to the application.
In respect to parking again, as mentioned, there will be one space provided for each unit on the site. Presently, most of the tenants there do not have vehicles. And we anticipate that to continue. But if they do have a vehicle and they do have guest parking, there will be room in the driveways for vehicles to park one behind the other. So the tenants could be directed to park any guest vehicles behind their own personal vehicle. And thus they would avoid parking on the street. And with advances in technology and in vehicles and that, in the future, there may not be a requirement for vehicles, so we may not have an issue down the road. And as the municipality grows, public transportation will become available as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of council, questions, comments? Councilor Bloom?
I have a comment on the expansion of CN yard. Any expansion that I'm aware of would be at the east end of the yard. I don't think they'd be willing to deal with Pelican Lake and rock cuts and tearing of the sewage treatment plant. So maybe the guy that wrote the thing is just having complaints from Southern Ontario about vibration and noise. That's probably what started this. As far as the extra parking and stuff, this is a question just could we lower the speed limit? Because it is a blind hill coming down into that area.
Perhaps what we can do is ask staff to look at the speed limit and come back and report on that. Yeah. But I don't think we can ask them tonight. Can you do it? Councillor Costco and then Councillor Levin.
The other question about street parking is, do we have legislation around street parking? Like, is there calendar parking or anything like that? Because that's really the concern of street parking is snow. And we do have street parking is being used throughout our community everywhere. It's not just this area here. Yeah.
Through Mayor Lawrence, yes, there are winter parking street restrictions with respect to overnight parking on municipal roadways, so that is not permitted annually between November 1st and April 15th or 30th. Thank you.
So we don't have it at all.
It's not in the downtown core, yes.
Okay, so we don't have but we could implement calendar days if it became an issue. Where in some cities, you could, on even days, you park on one side and odd days, and they plow the street, the side of the street that needs to be plowed on the odd or even days.
That would be an option if it became necessary, yes.
Yeah.
Councillor Levin.
It was indicated, and no, that's a dead end at the end of King Street there. Would it be an option to even push out some land at the bottom to add a few spaces for people to park? Because people do use the hill as well for in the wintertime.
So I
Might
think
be an
to ask staff to look at parking and look at the parking situation on King Street in general and specifically for calendar parking and push out, create more parking at the cul-de-sac again. This is the turnaround in Blueberry Hills. I wonder if we could add to be more onerous and ask to look at the sidewalk, the possibility of sidewalks, the cost, etc.
But you know, it's notice and we will look into those matters.
Thank you. Anything further, council? Questions from members of the public. Members of the public are invited to speak to the application. The public can ask questions, clarification, or seek background information. Speak in support of the application or speak in opposition to the application. All questions will be directed through the chair. It is requested that only one question be asked at a time. Please identify yourself before you ask your question so that you can be reported in the minutes of the meeting. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to speak to the application? Go ahead, please step forward and state your name. You can say did or will you like.
I'll just be saying the same thing. My concern is parking and what that's going to look like. And if people don't have any park there, park on the street, then that just becomes absurd. And I'm hoping myself and Eddie here long enough so that we can both see the no need for vehicles anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think I live that long.
You may be transported back to your seat. Anybody else? Councilor Cassidy.
A question on that, the unopened roadway behind the properties, is that all rock outcrop, is it, or is that roadway, has it been sold or is it still ours?
Yeah, 3 Mayor Lawrence, it's still a municipal laneway. There's a large elevation change there and it's all trees, so there's no real municipal purpose for it, I guess, down the road. There's an area where there's some sewer infrastructure that runs up the old 9th Avenue, I guess, but that's it.
So I guess my question, I guess, would be is just looking where kind of the laneway ends back there is pretty much at the start of this property. If parking did become an issue or in the future, that unopened laneway could be sold or transferred to them and they could utilize that area for parking in the rear for those additional units.
3 Mayor Lawrence, yeah, they can get access from the front of the lot to there. You wouldn't get access from.
They'd have to go off Queen Street. There's a back lane off Queen Street that accesses that road lane, so.
Yeah.
That could be a solution down the road if things happen.
Any further comments? This concludes the public meeting regarding zoning bylaw amendment applications at 12/20/24. If any member of the public wishes to be notified of the decision of council in respect of the application, you must make a written request to the planning coordinator. Notice to appeal the decisions of council to the Ontario Land Tribunal must be filed with the planning coordinator no later than 20 days from the date the notice of decision is circulated. The notice to appeal shall be sent to the attention of the planning coordinator, and it must include the following information: the reason for the appeal and the fee as prescribed under the Ontario Land Tribunal Act in the amount of $1,100 for the zoning bylaw amendment, payable by certified check to the Minister of Finance, Province of Ontario. As with the last one, we have two options, and I think I'll go into option one and see what happens. 138 King Street, zoning bylaw amendment number Z 12/2024. The council receives the planning report dated December 18th, 2024, respecting zoning bylaw amendment number Z 12/2024, and the council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 92-24, being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended for application number Z 12-2024. Is there a mover? Moved by Councillor Van Breda, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. The third and final application for tonight's statutory public meeting. The final third. Application 168 Drayton Road, zoning bylaw amendment number Z 15-2024. Applicant Dorothy Broderick. I'll just pause for a moment here. This public meeting is being held pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, chapter 13, regarding zoning bylaw amendment number Z 15-2024 by Dorothy Broderick for the subject property known locally as 168 Drayton Road. The subject property is described legally as Range 3, Lot 4, parcel 21811. The subject property is currently developed with a building that contains a retail establishment and a residence. The owner is proposing to halt and decommission the retail establishment in the building on the property. The purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment application Z 15-2024 is to rezone subject property from the local commercial zone to the rural residential zone. The rezoning is to recognize a change of use from commercial and residential to residential only on the subject property. The planning coordinator will confirm how notice was served to advertise the public meeting.
Notice was circulated to internal staff and external bodies by email. Notice was advertised in the Sioux Bulletin and on the municipal website and social media, and sent by mail to various agencies and property owners within 120 meters of the subject property. Signs were also posted on the subject property.
Thank you. The planning coordinator will provide a summary of the application.
A zoning bylaw amendment application has been submitted by Dorothy Broderick for the subject property locally known as 168 Drayton Road. The subject property is located within the building area and designated as rural residential in the official plan, and is located within the local commercial zone in the zoning bylaw. The subject property has a lot area of 6,272 square meters and a frontage of 48 meters on Sanders Road West. The purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment application is to rezone the subject property from the local commercial zone to a site-specific rural residential exception 5 zone. The proposed rezoning is to recognize a change of use from residential and commercial use to a residential use only. A site-specific rezoning is required to permit the following. Point 1, a reduced minimum lot area of 6,272 square meters. A minimum lot area of 10,000 square meters is required for any lot located in the rural residential zone. Point 2, a reduced minimum interior side yard setback of 5.5 meters. A minimum interior side yard setback of 6 meters is required. And point 3, a reduced minimum rear yard setback of 2.5 meters. A minimum rear yard setback of 15 meters is required. The subject property is currently developed with a principal building with a floor area of 194 square meters that contains a convenience store and an accessory dwelling unit that occupies part of the main floor and the entire basement. The owner is proposing to halt and decommission the existing convenience store to renovate that space for residential use. The application was reviewed in the context of the 2024 provincial planning statement. The Drayton area is considered rural lands under the provincial planning statement. Residential development where site conditions are suitable for the provisions of on-site sewage and water services is permitted on rural lands. The subject property is currently serviced by an on-site sewage and water service. A change of use is not anticipated to impact servicing, especially because the owner is not proposing additional sleeping spaces within the building. The zoning bylaw amendment application is consistent with the provincial planning statement. The official plan establishes policies to manage development within the municipality, and all planning decisions must conform to the official plan. The official plan identifies the Drayton area as consisting of large number of residential uses that have developed on private services adjacent to urban local settlement area. Residential development on private services are permitted in the Drayton area. The subject property is designated as rural residential in the official plan, and within this designation, a single detached dwelling is permitted. The proposed change of use will convert the existing building from a commercial and accessory residential use to a single detached dwelling. The zoning bylaw amendment application conforms to the official plan. The subject property is located within the local commercial zone. A single detached dwelling is not a permitted use in the local commercial zone. The owner is proposing to rezone the subject property from local commercial zone to rural residential exception 5 zone. The subject property does not meet the minimum lot area requirements, interior side yard setback, and rear yard setback requirements for the rural residential zone. A reduced lot area of 6,272 square meters is proposed. This reduced lot area is similar to some of the surrounding land uses that contain single detached dwellings. The reduced interior side yard and rear yard setbacks apply to the existing building. There is no new development proposed on the subject property. The subject property and existing development meets all other provisions and requirements for the rural residential zone.
Thank you. The planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from government agencies and municipal staff.
Through Lawrence, there's none.
Thank you. The planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from members of the public.
Through Lawrence, there's none.
Thank you. The applicant or representative is invited to speak to the application. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak to the application as a representative for the applicant themselves? Thank you.
Christmas, everyone. Just wanted to say that the store is currently closed, so there's no commercial use in that residence at this time. It's fully residential.
Members of the public are invited to speak to the application. The public can ask questions of clarification or seek background information, speak in support of the application, or speak in opposition to the application. All questions will be directed through the chair. It is requested only one question be asked at a time. Please identify yourself before you ask your question so that you can be properly recorded in the minutes of the meeting. Are there any members of the public present who wish to speak or in opposition to the application? Seeing or hearing none. This concludes the public meeting regarding zoning bylaw amendment application Z15-2024. If any member of the public wishes to be notified of the decision of council in respect of the application, you must make a written request to the planning coordinator. Notice to appeal the decisions of council to the Ontario Land Tribunal must be filed with the planning coordinator no later than 20 days from the date the notice of decision is circulated. The notice of appeal shall be sent to the attention of the planning coordinator, and it must include the following information: the reasons for the appeal and the fee as prescribed under the Ontario Land Tribunal Act in the amount of $1,100 for the zoning bylaw amendment, payable by certified check to the Minister of Finance, Province of Ontario. 168 Drayton Road, zoning bylaw amendment number Z15-2024. The council receives the planning report dated December 18th, 2024, respecting zoning bylaw amendment number Z15-2024, and further that council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 105-24, being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended for application number Z15-2024. Is there a mover? Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Bone. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Confirmatory bylaw, that bylaw number 114-2020-24, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the municipality of Silicoe, December 18th, 2020. Statutory public meeting. Be read at first, second, third time and passed. Moved by Councillor Van Breda, seconded by Councillor Bosco. All in favor? Carried. Waiver no, that was a great turn. All right, thank you. 6:30 and we're okay to jump into the regular meeting, everybody? I'll call the regular council meeting of the 18th. And ask for any amendments to the agenda.
To you, Mayor Lawrence, in light of the statutory public meeting, council may wish to add all items to the agenda. Item number 6.16, which would be related to zoning bylaw amendment application Z-10 2024. And accompanying that under section 10 of the bylaws, it would be bylaw number 90-24. To give effect to those, to that approval. Additionally, council may wish to add item 6.17, and that would be respecting zoning bylaw amendment application number Z-12-2024. As well as under item number 10, bylaw number 92-24. And finally, item number 6.18, zoning bylaw amendment application Z-15 2024. And under section 10 bylaws, it would be bylaw number 105-24.
So, motion that the regular council meeting of the, no, where am I? Motion that the agenda for the regular council meeting of December 18th, 24 be approved as amended. Moved on. Councillor Costco, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest.
To you, Mayor Lawrence, I have.
Thank you. And determination of items requiring separate discussion. 6.1 fees and charges update. 6.2 boat launch update. Councilor Van Breda. 6.3 Fire Mark A Incorporated to authorize bylaw 112-24 to rescind bylaw 89-24. 6.4. Okay, so these are
So through you, Mayor Lawrence, these were zoning bylaw amendment applications that were heard at the November statutory public meeting and were sent back. So that the applicant could have potentially all applications approved at one meeting, which looks like it's going to happen this evening.
so we don't need to list these.
And not unless council has further questions about what was discussed.
6.4, 6.5,
And 6.6.
and 6.6 all relate to the King Street applications. Does anybody want to lift any of these? Thank you. 6.7 appoint building inspector. I'll lift it for a brief comment on that. Okay. 6.8 committee of adjustment. Appointment of secretary treasurer. 6.9 2025 interim tax levy. And then 6.10 signing authority. 6.11 2025 municipal temporary borrowing bylaw. 6.12 Solar Community Improvement Plan, revised plan and bylaw, December 2024. 6.13 annual reappointment of committee of adjustment consent granting authority members. 6.14 resolutions to be submitted for consideration at the 2025 Kenora District Municipal Association meeting.
Yeah, Mayor Lawrence, that one has to be lifted.
Thank you. 6.15 primary public safety answering points, service agreement. And 6.16, 6.17, 6.18, the ones that the CAO has added regarding the zoning bylaw amendments. So going back, I see we have a determined the following items require lifting, 6.2, boat launch update, 6.7, building inspector, 6.14, resolutions to be submitted to KDMA. 3 items. And we have a motion that the remainder of the items not requiring set discussion. 80. That's Councilman, second one. Cassidy, all in favor? Here, thank you. Update, and was I thinking, openness for the motion, or should we turn over the slide, please?
The motion is fine there, thanks.
I'm gonna read the motion that council receives the public and tourist outfitters survey. And further, the council receives the updated report on maintenance and repairs completed in 2024. And further, the council approves the 3-tier levels of boat launches. And further, the council's direct staff to investigate implementing a non-residential fee. And further, the council approves staff to implement a soft launch of the OPS system for issuing boat launch parking permits. Moved by Councilor Lego, seconded by Councilor Van Breda, and the discussion starting with Councilor Van Breda.
Thank you. So I am in favor of the 3-tier level of boat launch. I think that's a good idea because in looking at the survey, it seems that the 3 most popular boat launches are Deception Bay, Boat Bay, and the West Hudson by the Onondaga. I'm just cautious of putting forward a non-resident fee. Because as we know, Sioux in the area is the only a community that charges boat launch fees. We have 9 boat launches. So I don't have any notes, sorry, in this notebook, but looking in the past, Deer Falls has 3, Dryden has 2, Kenora has 2, Red Lake has 2, and these are all free to use, no matter if you're a resident of the area or you're a tourist. So I don't want us to be more of an outlier because we're the only community that charges boat launches, and now we're going to be the only community that has a non-resident fee. Because I want more people coming to Sioux. I want more tourists coming. I want people because if more people come as a tourist, they see how beautiful our area, how beautiful our community is, how friendly our people are. So I'm just cautious that implementing a non-resident fee could hurt the tourist industry in the area. Also, another comment too, talking about the 3 levels of service. I was wondering if you can add garbage bins to every boat launch as well and have regular garbage collection. Because I just didn't see that in the staff report, or unless I missed it, my apologies.
Just before I ask staff to answer, just the resolution tonight is not to implement a non-residential fee, it's direct staff to investigate it.
Yeah.
Period. And nothing would be implemented without coming back to the council table. Councilor Layton.
Yeah, just going off of that, is there data to show who's using the boat launchers the most? Whether it's through non-residents or residents? I know that if you look at the fishery itself, 80-some% of the people that are taking fish off the lakes are non-residents. So I don't know if that's the same stat that would be for that are using our boat launches through camps or coming up as individuals into Sioux Lookout and using our boat launches.
Through Mayor Lawrence, that data isn't available because the fees are the same for everyone, and so there's and with the system that had been in place in 2024 with respect to issuing and tracking permits, that level of data wasn't collected.
Okay, I'll just let someone else ask something.
Councilor.
What would this investigation entail?
Through New Orleans, we would examine the fee structure that may work, looking at other communities that implement non-resident fees for other types of services. And looking at, you know, what are those fees? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? Is it 25%? But also, we would look at revenues generated this year with the increased fees, because there may be a possibility that the actual fees don't increase for non-residents, and that perhaps there can be, 10-15% reduction in the fee for residents. So that there's no actual increase to what the non-residents have been paying this year. So those would be the types of things that we would look into.
Councilor Legal, you had something? Oh, Councilor Cassidy first.
I think the intent, where we were trying to get with this from my recollection and discussions, was that we want to see the boat launch fees be a user pay system. If it's a user pay system, all users should be treated equal. I understand the intent behind it. I think it needs to be a system that's self-sufficient, and I believe where some of the other non-resident fees have been implemented are in municipal facilities that are subsidized by the tax base. So that's the justification for implementing that. The boat launches currently are subsidized by the tax base, but I think we want to get to a place where they're not. So I'm not, and I do believe that trying to implement this can create a bit of an administrative nightmare with trying to track who's from where and people swapping tags or passes or whatever. It could get challenging. So I'm not really in favor of it, but if we want to investigate it and look at it, go ahead. The OPSCOM, have we figured out the weekly billing so that can be done there? Okay, that's good. Yeah, and the 3-tier is great with me. Just on the garbage can stuff, like I see that as that is a reason to put more wages benefits into our boat launch budget by having people have to go out constantly, empty the garbage cans, put a new one in. I come off the water, you have your garbage in the boat, take it home with you. Like and then do you have people nearby? Oh, let's just go throw our garbage over here. You come off the water, take your garbage home with you. It's already in your boat. So why do you need to go throw it? And I think the other thing that we have put garbage cans there, we're going to encourage people to clean their fish. Then we're going to have fish guts. Then we're going to have bear issues at our boat launches too. So I think keep the garbage out of our boat launches for a lot of reasons. So.
Okay, I second that. No garbage bins out at the boat launches. It's just, there's already issues with people just throwing their garbage anyway, but that's on that person that's doing it. Whether we want to put up some cameras or something up there at some point, I don't know if that would even deter anyone from doing that. Also for the soft launch, are you still consider linking it to one license plate?
Yes, that's how the system works, and that's how the boat launch system is intended to work.
Yeah. Okay. And also, if we do, when you do come back with some answers on whether you want to look at non-resident versus resident, we need to have a definition of who's a resident and who's a non-resident. Like, is it Northwestern Ontario? Is it just Sioux Hudson area? Is a non-resident anyone outside of Ontario? If you go by licenses, they're considered Canadian residents. They have different fees associated with them. If it's non-residents, they're outside of Canada, and they have different fees associated with them for when you buy a fishing license. So just some information for you.
Councilor Costin.
Is there a fee attached to this study? Will it cost us money?
In regards, no, this would be something staff will undertake.
And I don't think I'm in favor of the non-resident fee. I agree with Councillor Cassidy, and I also agree on the garbage cans with Councillor Cassidy that people brought their garbage there. They can bring it back home and put it in their own garbage can.
Councilor Lehman.
Yeah, just so the public's aware, was almost $74,000 collected in passes 2024. I like the fact that wages and admin costs went way down because you're tracking it now. Instead of the 40,000, it's down to $13,500. Work done on boat launches in 2024 was over $50,000 was put into it. We are looking at every year putting money into the reserves. If you take all what was spent and what was made, almost at $10,000 that will be going hopefully into the reserves from 2024. So it worked, what was done.
Anything further, council? So I think the resolution, although there's been comments on the investigating, the implementing a residential fee, I think we're agreeing that we're asking staff to do that and come back and report it. So we should suggest we leave that as it is, leave the resolution as it is, and I'll call the vote. Unless there's anything else, council. So we're all in favor? Carried. 6.7, appoint building inspector. The council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 106-24, being a bylaw to appoint Andrew Cullen as an inspector for the municipality of Silicote under subsections 3.1 and 3.2 of the Building Code Act. Moved by Councilor Costco, seconded by Councilor Van Breda, and I merely lifted it to say congratulations to Andrew Cullen. These are not easy exams or tests to achieve this qualification, as our development services manager knows, having done them. So it's congratulations, and this is really a deepening and thickening of municipal human resources, people who are committed to be here. I think it's a great thing. So congratulations, Andrew, and congratulations to you. Thank you, development services manager. All in favor? Carries. Point 1.4. The council directs staff to submit resolutions as determined by council at the December 18th, 2024 regular council meeting for consideration at the 2025 Kenora District Municipal Association meeting. Moved by Councilor Van Breda, seconded by Councilor Lego. And I guess we had a list of resolutions in the report. Do you have that handy, Diego? Could you? Thank you.
If you remember, Lawrence, did you?
Yeah, how many resolutions? Like half a dozen?
So.
Could you just read
I can read the titles.
and maybe we'll just take each one and I'll just do a straw vote or comment on each one if you read the title. So this is an extension of the resolution, all right, folks, because we're named.
To you, Lawrence, so these are in the order that they were passed by council chronologically in 2024. The first one was Silicote supporting the annual resolution respecting a social and economic prosperity review request to the province.
Anybody opposed to that? I'll do the opposition. Anybody opposed to this? No, so that one's on the list. Next thing.
The second item is this is what happens when you sell that device.
Yeah, this is what happens when they've updated and it's presenting differently on the screen here.
Sorry.
They're on the cover page.
The next item was support for the KDMA resolution, which had to do with
Mixed value tweed.
no, sorry, this was regarding the using the provincial land tax to provide greater flexibility in funding the district's home for the aged. So given that this has sort of already moved through, and because this was a resolution that started with KDMA and we supported their resolution, my recommendation will be that this does not need to go back to KDMA at this time.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
The next item is the resolution relating to the AMO and AMO and OMA Joint Health Resolution Campaign. So this was something that was supported back in July and dealt with issues regarding reductions in service due to insufficient numbers of professionals in the healthcare sector.
Anybody's opposing this? We're okay with this? Good.
The next item. The next resolution had to do with the municipality of Tweed and their resolution respecting OPP, specifically the request that the government of Ontario upload 100% of the costs of policing.
I mean, I don't think this is going anywhere. The cost of OPP policing right now for the province is over $500 million. Then are taking this back, and we municipalities that's about what the total municipalities are paying. And the municipality of Tweed's policing costs are average or less than average, but is there any reason to not support it? I don't think so. I don't think.
We can't also.
Very good.
So for those of us who struggle with double negatives,
For anybody who opposes, and there's
no opposition, so it's moving forward to KDMA. Thank you, sorry.
Councilor Cassidy made it clear, if they want to take the costs all back, we'll let them.
Very good. Well, through you, Mayor Lawrence, given that AMO's latest numbers show that municipalities across Ontario are paying close to $4 billion in services that the province ought to be providing, perhaps we can do a bit of a trade-off there.
We support Tweed. Next.
The next one was from the municipality of a resolution that this council supported from the municipality of Red Lake, respecting resource revenue sharing. This had to do with revenues that arise from mineral extraction and similar activities, that municipalities be given a share of that revenue, and as opposed to it all going to the province.
And would Red Lake share with us, or are they keeping their less than us?
The resolution was silent on that point.
Well, I don't think we can be mean to our neighbors, and I don't think there's any opposition here. No?
Very good. The next item, whoops. So this was a resolution from NOMA that council supported with respect to recognizing the essential role of nurse practitioners in Northwestern Ontario healthcare services. So again, this is one of those that has already sort of gone up through the chain. I don't think this one needs to be reconsidered by.
No opposition here? Nope.
Okay. And finally, this was with respect to the Northern Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, and council had supported a resolution that had asked that the province provide a specific set aside for Northern Ontario within this program, because traditionally it's been difficult to maneuver, access, and actually get immigrants to our region through the provincial program. Unfortunately, the ship has sailed on this. The request was denied, and so there will not be a set aside. So, if
Delete this one from it's just not relevant anymore. So we'll delete that one and approve all the others. Councilor Van Vleuten.
Sorry, do we have to send these by this month. I'm just asking because I have a resolution tonight. Can that be added or is there not enough time?
No, 3 ambulance, I'm just trying to think, so the resolution tonight, will just be introduced tonight and then voted on in January. I think the deadline to get resolutions to Katie may be prior to the January council meeting, so that's a big challenge.
Did the report not speak to the deadline?
Sorry, Jack, do you recall the deadline on that? I do know that they have to come in soon.
You can introduce it on the floor at Katie and May. I think you can do that. I think you can do.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can, yeah, last year they
They
did.
did introduce, yes, yeah.
As far as council resolutions, I think it's passed, but you can anybody, an elected member at Katie May can introduce a resolution on the floor. And doesn't necessarily have the support of your council. It depends what it is, but it's for everybody to vote on. So. All right, so all in favor of the one Katie May resolutions tonight? Carried. Thank you. And bylaw. Oh, please do.
Okay, 3 Maryland's following bylaws are being presented to council for 3 readings and passing. The order will be chronological until the very end because we got a couple of add-ons at the end there, so you can bear with me. Bylaw number 86-24 being bylaw to establish fees and charges for the municipality of Sioux. Bylaw number 91-24 being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended, respecting application number 11-2024. Bylaw number 93-24 being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended, or application number Z13-2024. Bylaw number 94-24 being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended, for application number Z14-2024. Bylaw number 104-24 being a bylaw to approve the December 2024 I think I had an extra 20 in there, version of the Sioux Community Improvement Plan, create the Community Improvement Plan Application Review Committee, establish terms of reference for the committee, and to rescind bylaw number 14-24, being a bylaw to rescind bylaw number 80-23, being a bylaw to approve the August 2023 version of bylaw number 80-23. And yes, there we go. That's all for that one. Bylaw number 106-24 being a bylaw to appoint Andrew Cullum as an inspector for the municipality of Sioux under subsections 3 sub 1 and 3 sub 2 of the Building Code Act. Bylaw number 109-24 being a bylaw to establish terms of reference for the Committee of Adjustment, to rescind bylaw 19-21 being a bylaw to establish terms of reference for the Committee of Adjustment, and to rescind bylaw number 05-24 being a bylaw to appoint a secretary treasurer for the Sioux Committee of Adjustment and Consent Granting Authority. Bylaw number 110-24 being a bylaw to authorize the temporary borrowing of monies to meet the current expenditures of the corporation of the municipality of Sioux. Bylaw number 111-24 being a bylaw to provide for the 2025 interim tax levy and late payment charges. Bylaw number 112-24 being a bylaw to authorize and direct the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement between the corporation of the municipality of Sioux and Fire Marquet Inc. for the cost recovery fees with respect to fire department specific response, and to rescind bylaw number 89-24, which had originally adopted that agreement. Bylaw number 113-24 being a bylaw to authorize and direct the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement between the corporation of the municipality of Sioux and the Ontario Provincial Police Municipal Policing Bureau for primary public safety answering point service agreement. Bylaw number 90-24 being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw of the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended for application number Z-10-2024. bylaw number 9224, being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended for application number Z 12-2024. And bylaw number 105-24, being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended, respecting application Z-15 2024. And Mayor Lewis, we need a mover and seconder that all of those bylaws receive a first, second, and third reading and be passed.
Thank you. Mover? Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Van Breda. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
We have a notice of motion from Councillor Van Breda regarding the twinning of Highway 17 between Thunder Bay and Kenora. Whereas the municipality of Sioux recognizes the economic importance of having a safe, reliable provincial highway system, which includes Trans-Canada, and how safe highways play a pivotal role within our regional economy. And whereas the municipality of Sioux acknowledges that Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation and the township of Ignace were identified as the NWMO's preferred site for the nuclear storage in November 2024. And whereas the municipality of Sioux acknowledges that the largest bottleneck throughout the entire Trans-Canada highway system is located in highways 1117 merge east of the township of Nipigon towards the Manitoba border. And when this highway is closed, most traffic and therefore economic activity comes to a halt. And whereas the municipality of Sioux acknowledges that Highway 17 is solely a two-lane highway and is one of the largest bottlenecks within the entire Trans-Canada highway system. Now therefore be resolved that the Council Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux urges that the province of Ontario and the government of Canada come together to find solutions to twin all of Highway 17 west of Thunder Bay to Kenora. I just go through the usual motions of getting a mover.
Sort of few new ones. In this case, because it's a notice of motion, we just need a mover tonight.
Just tonight and there it comes
And
back.
it comes back in January.
Is there a mover? And can the
Yes,
submitter move?
correct.
Yes. You may, you may. Moved by Councilor Van Breda and comes back to our next meeting for discussion. Thank you. That brings us to, I think, Councilor reports. Councilor Van Breda.
Attended the special council meeting with the Northwestern Health Unit and as well as the special council meetings on the 19th of November and the 12th of December. Attended the TNC committee meetings for both November and December, and we're moving forward with a lot of ideas and a lot of working groups. So a lot of things are coming out of the TOC committee. Pretty happy about that. I attended the mental health and addiction forum in Winnipeg, which was really interesting because we met with the Manitoba Minister for Mental Health and Addiction. Because Manitoba is building their first supervised consumption site. Also met quickly with their premier Bob Canoe, pretty friendly guy. Make a note here that unfortunately no Ontario representatives were there, although they were invited. Attended the Budgetopoly in Hudson. Good turnout, and Jen was able to meet with the Lost Lake Board as well. And was not able to attend the environmental committee meeting. But also, I just want to say, before I end, and you can cut me off, Mr. Lawrence, I want to say my condolences to my neighbor, Ellen Bernier, who passed away in November. She was a member of the first local services board in Hudson way back in the 1980s, which was found out to the first in Northwestern Ontario.
Councilor Bowman.
I as well attended the special council meeting with the Northwest Health Unit. I attended the special council meeting on the pool recreation feasibility study, November 27th. December 5th, special council meeting for strategic plan and pool survey study. December 10th, committee of adjustment meeting, couple of minor variances to deal with. And that was my last 3 weeks.
Thank you. Councillor Glasgow.
I attended 3 special council meetings. I also went to Madness and we had a TRC working committee meeting where we are starting to collect some of the museum artifacts and we're going to put them at the airport. So we've had a couple working things on that, and the cabinet is actually at the airport ready to go. We're just waiting for the artifacts and then Councillor Van Breda will work with the committee and fill the cabinet. And I think we have a member of the public that's going to do the descriptions for us. So I also attended the regular TRC meeting and we seem to be, you know, a good working group and we seem to be getting projects done. So we're pretty pleased with the amount of work that we've accomplished through the TRC this year, and we are hoping next year will even be bigger and better. So I also attended the budget meeting, the committee of adjustments. I went to the staff Christmas party, which was a little bit different format this year, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It's an activity-based thing, which was great. And I also attended the Santa Claus Parade, which our town and our fire department did a great job at. So, yeah, it's a busy one.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, for myself, a couple. For myself, a couple special council meetings. Unfortunately, I had to miss one. I had 3 PACE meetings, just some special ones regarding some loan improvements and some other administrative ones. Hydro board meeting, hydro board again tomorrow, and I also took in the Santa Claus Parade, which was again very well done. So.
Thank you. Councillor Megan.
Attended all the special council meetings that the staff's been calling on us. LCC meeting, work continues on the Laxo Forest. They pushed their burning of piles till next into 2025, and they rolled over some of their seeding into 2025. We reviewed the terms of reference for the LCC, and it'll be brought back to us to vote on. And Caribou Forest, not much work going on. The one company that works up there has moved south to work in a different forest, and they'll be coming back in March to continue. Yeah, it looks like they planted over 1 million, again, 1 million trees up there. And they also aerial seeded 2,000 hectares, and each hectare gets about 28,000 seeds. So replenishing the forest.
Thank you. I attended special council meetings as well, and I thought I counted 4. but
Yes,
3?
there was 4.
There were 4, thank you. Yeah, so maybe some of you missed one, okay. They were coming fast and furious. All right, so I'm not wrong. 4 special council meetings plus KDSB regular board meeting and 4 governance committee meetings of KDSB and 2 finance committee meetings of KDSB. It must be the season to call extra meetings. The health unit regular board meeting and 1 executive committee meeting, police services board meeting, and that was, this is the combined OPP detachment, Sioux detachment, which includes Pickle Lake. And we went to virtual meetings. We have decided that I think so January or February meeting will be back. We're going to meet in person here in Pickle Lake and join virtually to, there's something lacking when we're all virtual, when it's all here. So we're back to in person here. And allowing Pickle Lake to either come or attend virtually. Several media interviews as well as the bulletins, I think Kenora and CBC on policing costs when that came out. Friendship Court, we tried to pull together a meeting. We got half a meeting, or I should say 3/5 of a meeting. But we have an agreed date in mid-January to have a meeting. Then the Filipino Christmas function, which was wonderful. Good food and good cultural celebration. And last week I went to the Ontario Association of Police Services Boards Conference in Thunder Bay. It's the regional conference that's attended by quite a few people from the OPP and Solgen who come up from Toronto. So it was very informative and got to make a few points at the meeting, see where they go. But I found it worthwhile and I will go again. I took notes and I've unfortunately, already had to go through my written notes, but I will get them and bring them to the police services board meeting when we next meet. Had various meetings with various individuals, but including Chief Bull and I had a very nice coffee meeting this morning. And I wished him and his community Merry Christmas. And yesterday I met with our Police Services Board and TRC Chair Darlene Andrew and thanked her for all that she does for us. And today, CAO and I met with OPP Inspector and Staff Sergeant looking at various methodologies, sort of refining our methodologies, trying to get our calls for service reduced if we can. That was the month, and here we are, at regular council meeting. Ready to go into closed session. So maybe I'll get the motion on the floor, we move into closed session, and we'll take a 5-minute break. So the council moves into closed session at 7:11 PM. To discuss subject matter relating to a position plan, procedure, criteria, and instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239(2)K, 2 items, development proposal and Laxole First Nation. And subject matter relating to litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239(2)E, 1 item, staffing. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Lego. All in favor? Carried. We are now in closed session, but we'll take a 5-minute break before we And a report out from closed session, the council ratifies motions direction given to staff relative to the items presented in the closed session on December 18th, 2024 as follows.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, that council ratifies direction respecting the development proposal. That council ratifies direction to staff respecting Lexel First Nation negotiations. And that council ratifies direction to staff respecting an HR matter.
Moved by Councilor Breda, seconded by Councilor Cassidy, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And confirmatory bylaw number 108-24 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Municipality of Silicote, December 18th, 2024 regular council meeting be read first, second, third time and passed. Moved by Councilor Lego, seconded by Councilor Cassidy, all in favor? Carried. Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night.
Merry Christmas.